Good morning, Mr. Ami. How are you? Good morning, doctor.
Good morning, Shashi Kumar, and good
Good
morning,
morning,
Ami.
doctor.
Yes.
Morning,
Morning.
doctors. Morning, Sashi Kumar.
Good morning, Dr. Ami. Dr. Ashraf.
How are you doing? All good?
Going on, doctor. We saw your question paper also. This time we
Okay,
try to do it, doctor.
Okay, the last question before,
Thank
yeah?
you properly.
Okay.
Doctor, your daughter's
Thank you.
name I forgot.
Yeah, is
Record.
Aisha.
Aisha. Asma, I was thinking. Aisha.
Yeah, sure. Your photo is with me.
How is she?
That you're carrying Aisha,
Yeah, yes, doctor.
and she used to see that sometime.
Yeah. Yes, doctor.
Great. I'm just waiting. Pillai is no absent today.
Pillai is in India actually.
Okay. He said that day, right?
Yeah, he is some marriage he has gone. Mr. Bala, I don't know, he's available here only, but I don't know any no information from him.
Okay.
So I assume he is available.
Yeah, perfect. So let me see other people who are joining today.
Okay.
Then we can begin, Ami. Today's Ami is remaining part of the presentation, right?
Yes, doctor. Yes.
Okay. So Shashi Kumar, will you be able to do your presentation on the not next week. Next week we'll be free because after 3 sessions we are having the free. So it will be almost the date will be, I'll be telling you.
Maybe next week.
Not next week, 24 and not a 24.
December
First,
1.
December 1.
I will check and tell you.
Just let me know. Otherwise, we can just give the slots to any other one. Or maybe Pillai also will be ready. His content is almost ready, I think. So if you find difficulty, you can just discuss among you, Pillai and you, or Bala, then finalize it. And please let me know.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
Ruben has messaged me something. Let me check it out. So meanwhile, I'm just sharing you one thing. There are a number of questions, but I wanted to give you a small task before we are starting into. Are you able to see this?
Yes, doctor.
There are a number of questions before that. It's something, very interesting question, but I don't want to share right now. In the presence of others also, we can do that. This one, just taking a 5 to 10 minutes, we can do a small ice breaking, then we can go for, Ami's presentation. Yes, it's you can just read it for the 3 minutes, try to understand the concept and what will be your answers and justify it, why you have taken all these things. Okay? Yeah.
I'm only open.
Just come. So you can work on it 3 minutes. Be clear-cut answers. I'm back. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, doctor.
Yes, Shashi Kumar and Ami,
Yes, doctor.
your ideas are welcome here. What you
Um,
understand from this, and please let me know. Somebody has written here something. Okay, Ami has written water, torch,
One.
penknife, parachute, and cosmetic mirror. Tell me the reason. Someone more is joined here in 1A 9240.
I'm not
That is
too
Bala.
familiar with what is Sonora Desert, but pertaining to the background itself, that it's I choose all these items as part of my survival kits. That
Okay.
includes the parachute, the white and red, which is in terms of search and rescue. It can easily, most probably, they can see you if you lay that huge kind of materials. Looking upstairs, from the up going to down, white and red are very attractions. Same with the cosmetic mirror, to reflect lights, just only to in case to send for the signals, to cause the attention someone's who's on the above, or can easily reflect lights for that per se. Torch
Okay.
during evening can be used, and penknife for your survival as long as with your water.
Okay.
That's
So this
my
is Bala. Bala has joined. This in 1AE 9240 is Bala.
Yes, sir. Yes, yes. Yes.
Okay, okay. Bala is having a
Okay.
question. You can also have a look on this. The survival, desert survival, decision-making exercise. Then we'll be going for Ami's presentation. Just choose 5 items from this. Then tell us why you have chosen the 5 items. Okay, I have some question, Ami. Okay, only after telling everyone, I will ask you. Okay. Yes, Shashi Kumar,
okay.
please tell me.
Okay. Thank you, doctor. I have chosen water, mirror, sunglass, torch, and penknife.
Okay, why?
The logic behind is I could see 70 miles from the nearest settlement and 65 miles, of course. So it is morning 10 o'clock. So if I start walking, I can cross 70 miles in 7 hours, 10 miles per hour.
Okay.
So before night time, I can reach. So I do not expect to travel during night time. So still I have the torch as a backup for me.
Perfect.
Water is for just to keep us hydrated. So I take 1 liter of water. Mirror to give signals when I walk through the place. I want to reflect the sunlight so that somebody can help us. Sunglasses, since because of in the desert, we need sunglasses. Otherwise, we cannot walk for a long time. Pen knife is to safeguard from ourselves. This is the logic behind me having these 5 numbers.
Why penknife?
Pen knife is while we traveling in the desert, no, definitely there may be small creatures, animals, life-threatening animals will be there. So we have to safeguard from that animals. So in that for that reason, I like to have the pen knife. And any bushes, any fruits, anything I want to cut, something like that. That is a
Okay,
multi-purpose.
okay, very good, very good, very
That is
good.
the reason.
Very good. So what about Bala?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah. Have you chosen
Uh,
5 items? Survival kit.
Same, almost the same reasons what Mr. Dr. Sasi said.
Okay.
Knife for protecting us from other creatures. Like we can see some desert snakes, scorpion, spiders are there which are very poisonous. So to just
Okay.
protect that.
Very good, very good, very good. So I have a question to Ami.
Yeah.
Ami, why parachute?
Parachute is a huge items that there's already strings that you can use just in case for any kind of survival things. The white and red are very visible.
Yeah, already you are already crash landed in the desert.
Yeah, because
So
the white and red,
okay, you are in the land right now. Then what is the need of parachute?
because the parachute is using to ask for a signal visibility that you can easily be identified that there's on that particular area for you to be noticed by the search and rescue group for that thing. They need that the white and red is very essential. It will reflect immediately as they can see, especially on that kind of geographical locations as you may consider.
Okay,
Uh,
I was feeling in between to whom I am asking this rescue related things, yeah? The one who is rescue being a part of a rescue. Yeah, okay, good. So I don't have more query in this related. Okay, I thought, parachute will be used from the flight, yeah, to jump out or to save ourselves. But once we landed, what is the purpose of parachute? But you're having some other perspective answers. I don't want to intervene in that. That's a good one. Okay, so now, let me call Ami for your presentation on the topic. Before that, I have 2 questions. You need to answer it, okay? Which one you will choose?
Poor and happy.
Very sure? This is a somewhat difficult question, but easy to answer.
I
Okay,
may
Shashi.
agree with
Yes, Ami didn't do anything. Ami, tell me the answer.
poor and happy. Same with Sashi Kumar.
I asked the
Being
same question to a group of students. It's almost 50 students in the one classroom, graduate students. The answer was quite different. Answer was be rich and sad. I was thinking the reason behind why they said the same. Then they answered it. Money can buy happiness. They're telling because they came into conclusion, money has a key role to buy the happiness. So being rich and sad or poor and happy is the best one. So they choose the be rich and sad is the option they have chosen. I'm also giving. Which one you'll choose?
smarter than average.
Smarter than average. Yes.
Smarter than average. Which one you will be choosing?
Go without shampoo.
Go without shampoo. Yes.
Very sure. Next one.
Give up social media.
Your social media.
Eat the same meal for the rest of your life.
Okay, there are some meaning. I don't want to ask it. Okay. Which one? At this moment.
Be able to fly.
Invisible. I'm afraid of heights.
Okay, you're afraid of heights. Okay, okay. Bala.
So you want me to choose be
Yeah.
able to fly or become invisible?
Okay, there are lot of things are there. Yeah, I want to be invisible for at least some time. Okay, so next one. Be able to teleport or have a time machine.
What's the
They
meaning,
are
doctor?
just the
Teleport?
same. Yeah.
Okay, okay, just leave it. So next one.
Have a pause.
Okay, okay. Have a pause,
Rewind
yeah?
button in life.
Which one? Which one you will choose from this?
8 AM classes every day.
AM classes every day. Okay, now I'm concluding this. Now I invite Ami to have a presentation. I'm rejoining within 2 minutes. You can just screen share your everything, okay? Give me 2 minutes. You can
Yes.
start meanwhile. You can start meanwhile, okay? I'm just
Dr. Ami, last week I missed your presentation. Hopefully today I'll catch it up.
Oh yeah, I will make
understand. Yeah, okay.
no worries about that one.
Thank you.
Can everybody see my slides presentation? Can you see the presentation, Dr. Sashi Kumar?
Yeah, yes, Mr. Ami, we could see. You can consider, yeah,
Yes. Okay.
presentation mode.
To my content, to my continuations of my presentations with the title of Optimizing Ambulance Delivery through Strategic Healthcare System Integration and Collaborative Efforts.
Okay.
So for a wrap-up, we have the introductions, objectives of the study, statement of the problem, the research gap, significance of the study, review, and related literature. Okay. Just only to overview again that the ambulance services in UAE are being divided into some with the major, the Abu Dhabi Civil Defense Group, which is covering most of the Abu Dhabi. And the Dubai Corporation for Ambulance Services has been covered the Dubai area, and the National Ambulance Services, which is covering most of the Northern Emirates, Sharjah going to Fujairah or Kalba or Khor Fakkan. Okay. For the objectives of the study to explore ways in which ambulance delivery system can be optimized through the strategic healthcare system integrations and collaborative efforts to improve patient outcomes and system efficiency, to identify the primary challenges and limitations of the current ambulance delivery system and assess their impact on patient outcomes and system efficiency, to examine how healthcare system can be integrated to optimize
so now
ambulance
I think
delivery.
Ami is giving the nutshell that you have presented the previous week, yeah?
Yes, Doctor.
Perfect,
for the benefit of Dr. Sashi Kumar as
okay,
I'm
sure,
not
sure.
around during
No
that.
problem. No problem. Yes, please continue.
Thank you, doctor. If you want to start, you can start. I will catch it up.
No
No, it's
problem, no
good.
problem, no problem.
And to examine how healthcare system can be integrated to optimize ambulance delivery and identify key factors influencing successful collaborations between different healthcare providers. To identify the most effective optimization strategies for ambulance delivery and to explore how these can be implemented to improve response times, resource allocations, and patient outcomes. To investigate how advanced data analytics and technology can be leveraged to improve ambulance delivery and to evaluate the potential benefits and challenges associated with their implementation. And lastly, to identify the policy and regulatory barriers to implementing optimization strategies in ambulance delivery and to propose recommendations for addressing these barriers to facilitate change. For the statement of the problems, so what is the demographic profile of respondents in terms of age, gender, and educational attainment? So this will be going to be addressed during the review of the related literature. Two, how can ambulance delivery system be optimized through the strategic healthcare system integration and collaborative efforts to improve patient outcomes and system efficiency? So what are the primary challenges and the limitations of current ambulance delivery systems, and how do these impact patient outcomes and system efficiency? How can healthcare system be integrated to optimize ambulance delivery, and what are the key factors influencing successful collaborations between different healthcare providers? Fifth, what are the most effective optimization strategies for ambulance delivery, and how can this be implemented to improve response times, resource allocations, and patient outcomes? Six, how can ambulance data analytics and technology can be leveraged to improve the ambulance delivery, and what are the potential benefits of and challenges associated with their implementations? Seven, what are the recommendations, policy, and regulatory barriers to implementing optimization strategies and ambulance delivery, and how can this be addressed to facilitate changes? So for the research gap, we have the optimization of ambulance delivery has traditionally focused on the isolated elements like the response times, resource allocations, and patient outcomes. It overlooks the holistic impact of the healthcare system integrations and interagency collaborations with the EMS faces unique from a growing and diverse populations. Limited studies examine how integrations of the EMS efficiency or address the challenges of implementing collaborative approach within the diverse and evolving healthcare infrastructures. And the advanced data analytics and technology show promise for improving efficiency, practical applications, and developing regions are unexplored, and there is a need to understand how these technologies can be adapted to overcome infrastructure barriers. So
Doctor, what is
the infrastructure,
EMS?
the EMS stands for the emergency medical systems. It is comprised of
Shashi
the
Kumar wants to ask you
ambulance.
something.
Yeah, I asked doctor. EMS I was asking.
Okay,
Emergency medical
yes.
services.
Medical system, yeah.
So these are components of the firefighters, the rescuers, the police, and the ambulance services. So it's a huge integrations of the public safety structures in the government. Okay. For the significance of the study, it is relatedly morely on the UAE government. The study will provide that the government with insights and recommendations for the developing resilient patient-centered EMS system that aligns within the country's national healthcare goals and support the growth for a robust healthcare infrastructure. The healthcare administrators and policymakers This study will offer the evidence-based strategies and actionable recommendations that will help healthcare administrators and policymakers optimize EMS integrations, enabling better coordination and decision-making in emergency healthcare services. The healthcare providers and hospitals, the ambulance service providers, the patients and families, and the academy, and the future researchers. Okay, so these are the significant studies of these particular topics will be dealt with. So for the review and related literature, which I am being cut off during the last time, I've divided into different parts that are related to the studies or the statement of the problems. So one, we have the EMS and demographic profile. The age distribution of the respondents plays a significant role in influencing the emergency medical services planning and delivery, as different age groups have distinct healthcare needs and challenges. And in many studies, older adults had been identified are more likely to experience complex health conditions, which require specialized medical attentions and longer response times. So the gender differences and perceptions of ambulance services can provide valuable insights for improving EMS systems. Research indicates that men and women may perceive EMS services differently based on factors such as cultural expectations, health needs, and personal experience with the healthcare system. For instance, women are more likely to report higher satisfaction with the perceived emotional support provided by the EMS system or the EMS teams, while men might focus more on these technical or physical aspects of the services, such as the response times and efficiency. As I may go back to the age distributions, the understanding the age distribution respondents in EMS study helps tailor service delivery to meet the specific needs of different age groups, ultimately improving the effectiveness of emergency medical care, because some ambulances they have different kind of ambulance in terms for the responding for the child and infant. So these ambulance are only catering for the child and infant as not as a general ambulance for the adults or for the general public welfare itself. So sometimes they have to provide or customize an ambulance that pertaining to this kind of demographic profile or kind of patient. Like for the women, they have for the maternity and labor kind of ambulances services only. So there's a customizations of kind of ambulance for the different kind of services to provide for the general public and welfare. So it's not all the same ambulances as you can see as they responded into the public. They have different kinds. So that's why the ambulance communication center activated what kind of ambulance can be needed for this particular kind of medical or trauma emergencies.
So
Also,
Ami, have you
yes, doctor.
experienced you're talking about EMS and demographic profile relationship between, yeah? So
Yes.
emergency medical services and demographic profile. So those who are having the lower educational attainment that we have mentioned in the second paragraph.
Yes.
You have mentioned in the second paragraph. So have you felt it? The people who are having the less education is misusing the services, emergency services.
Oh, yes, doctor. Because people with the less educations, or I may say it's less awareness in terms of the ambulance services. They're calling for the ambulance for the toothache and stomach ache, which it is a misuse of resources per se. because the ambulance services are being built to address an kind of emergencies, medical or trauma, that toothache is not one as we considered as an emergency unless otherwise it is. You know, there's something, a huge impact pertaining to the facial trauma, but
Yes,
toothache, headache, it's not. And these
got it.
are mostly on the people or individual with less awareness pertaining what is ambulance for, because they thought that ambulance can resolve everything their, you know, their problems in terms during on their and their need times, but not during on their emergency or medical. Unlike with the people who have understanding or more knowledgeable pertaining what is the ambulance for, they are much more concerns of pertaining to their you know, on the preventive measures pertaining to their health. You know, sometimes they ask for the apology why they have to call early in the morning because of their concerns that they have. These are for the people with more an understanding or knowledgeable pertaining their educational background. As you know, they don't. It seems that they don't like to you know acting the people to respond on their needs, because that is just like they have high blood pressures or they have palpitations and they have discomfort, that they know that and they're on that there is something wrong with their health that needs to address immediately going to the hospital. Unlike with the persons or individual have knowledge or low knowledge or not knowledgeable at all pertaining to the ambulance service being provided to them.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, continue, please.
So as we have said that there's also been these kind of demographic profile in terms of their educational attainment. In terms with optimizing the EMS, the emphasize the importance of seamless coordinations between the emergency medical services and the healthcare facilities to ensure that patients receive the most appropriate care without unnecessary delays. Effective integrations ensures that ambulance teams can quickly transfer patient information to receiving hospitals, enabling medical teams to prepare for the patient's arrival and provide timely treatment. Okay. Similarly, according to SIAD, notes that the integration of ambulance services with hospital networks help to optimize resource allocations, as EMS can identify the nearest facilities that are best equipped to handle specific emergencies, thereby reducing the response and treatment times. According to Comra Manesh, discuss also how collaborations between public and private sectors, along with the local government coordinations, can help ensure that the ambulance services are better resourced and more efficiently managed. As well as with Elban et al. Argue that public-private partnership have the potential to improve not only on the efficiency of the ambulance services, but also their effectiveness in meeting the diverse needs of the populations by pooling resources, expertise, and data. These collaborations can ensure that the ambulance services are more responsive and patient-centered care. I just only like to emphasize on these things that as we are trying to build more, to be more an effective and efficient ambulance or public service providers, especially in this region, you know, that technology and the integrations of these things should be more in built will, because we cannot say, although each and every of the persons right now in UAE, they have medical insurance, but the problem that one is that getting their more information pertaining to their cases, especially on their medical case, because it's not the same thing as one person's can be, you know, they have their own kind of doctors, especially on the geriatrics or the older demographic people, that they have their, you know, long chronic kind of disease They have different doctors, different hospitals. So once the ambulance responded to their needs during their emergency times, once we have, downloaded their Emirates ID per se, we're trying to have to access all the informations they have, which is much more easier to integrate or connect to the receiving facilities that these persons have these previous, their past medical history, including their surgeries, their current medications being used to be uploaded. And, although that data privacy uh, may suppress this kind of idea, but these informations are very vital in addressing the health information needs of the persons. So this is one way or another that uh, I think should address, especially the regulatory bodies and the government, for us to have a unified kind of systems of, that each person have the identity of their patient healthcare records, so that the person addressing or responding during their medical or trauma emergencies can immediately address. It lessen the time asking all a lot these informations, especially when the person is, no longer cooperative, or at the time of implying of immediate consent in terms of uh, asking their permissions for a lot of information. So this is one thing that should address, because this is one of the challenges that we're facing around, for that we can address immediately the concerns of their medical needs, if I may. And secondly, for the Kuram, Manesh, and Ibana kind of study, these are morely on the developing countries, people on the local government unit, that they have a public and privately a partnership, wherein the ambulance services are being catered by the private services, which they have much more capabilities, rather than with, run by the local government unit, or a municipality or a city, like what the United States are having right now, that they employed or have used the third party contractors to provide for their ambulance services. But the regulatories and the needs in terms of their legalities are being addressed uh, by the city itself, or by the local government unit, as it is much more easier for them, that they just only have to pay monthly payment billings, rather than, the government will procure ambulance, will employ people, you know their maintenance of the ambulances, the purchasing of their, disposable items, the needs of the ambulance equipment per se, are very crucial, and huge amounts of demand of of dollars or dirhams for that one to utilize to provide services. So this is much more on the concern, the business side of the ambulance services. Having this kind of private company providing this kind of services, which will just apply or openly provide a business proposal to the government, that if we will have this kind of at least 60 million per year, we will provide 24 service of the ambulance services, with almost about 30 or 50 units of ambulances covering this specific kind of region. It's with, all the equipments, disposable items gotta be need are it's will be a less headache for the government to run. So it will be just only the private parties, but it will be in accordance of the government unit, in what kind of, level of requirements they need in providing this kind of ambulance services to their community as per se. The primary challenges and limitations of the current ambulance delivery systems. According to Siri Simator and Washir Adiko, highlight that, yes, Sashi Kumar, questions please.
Mr. Ami, do you consider ambulance services as a business to gain profit, or it is a service to population, to country? Basic concept of ambulance, I'm asking.
Yes, I would be very, in my personal point of view, Sashi Kumar, it will be more on the business side of it. You know, if you are the government, I may say, it will depends on what particular you are addressing, because I like to point like Dubai. Dubai is I can say very urbanized and great cities, as I may say, that mostly tourism is one of their kind of business this time. If you don't have a basic services like the ambulance services that promotes the general welfare, especially for the tourists, tourists will not come in your city. Okay, because tourists, they will pay for their medical insurances to come into your city and spend at least 5,000 dirhams per person. But if you don't have this kind of system, ambulance system, and the integrations of the healthcare systems well, and it's not on the top notch, these tourists will not come, to the point that it will just, what if they have this kind of medical emergencies and they don't have this kind of facility or basic services being addressed? They're paying too much for their medical insurance, but it should be, you know, reciprocate with this kind of services. Okay, so that's why the ambulance services in Dubai are being run by a private entity. It's not the government, but it's a Dubai Corporation's ambulance services. They are the one who's running the public safety, and it's they are billing the government of Dubai. It's maybe depending on their contract, if it's yearly or kind of billing, and it's a business services. And I think it is a
So you
long-term
are
strategy.
okay. Okay, continue, doctor.
It's a long-term strategy for the thing, because the government will just will just implement those kind of, we need this kind of ambulance services in my city, with this kind of different kind of requirements, qualifications, their people, their type of ambulances, you know, equipments that should be at par with the standard level of the emergency medical services. So they require the private company services to equip this kind of ambulance for the needs of the people. So the government will just pay monthly, and depends on what are they contract with, but it should be what is on the criteria of the being ambulance provided, in terms of the manpower, the logistic, the equipment, their type of being used of, I can say, the emergency equipments are being used by the DCAS, as long as the approval or the granting their license to operate in terms with the requirements of the government, especially with the Dubai healthcare authorities. So you see the business side and the operational side of that one. So if you're the government with lots of money that you can demand in terms with what are the requirements, what are now the current requirements of a certain number one cities in the world that address most especially the expats or the tourist people in terms of their medical needs, or in terms during their medical emergencies. So these portions of the the country's development should not be put aside, okay? Because these are the one that will determine what kind of developing or urbanized cities you are right now if you don't have a very high qualified ambulance services in your area. I hope
So,
that address your questions, Dr. Sashikumar.
thank you, Mr. Ami. So, my understanding is in this particular study, you are considering ambulance services as a business motive only. For people
No.
who are poor, you are not giving much important, is it? Can I?
No, doc,
Not particularly.
not
Okay,
first. Yes,
okay.
because Sashikumar, the ambulance service right now, as I've mentioned, is being run by three major ambulance services. For the Abu Dhabi, we have the Abu Dhabi Civil Defense Authority. They are under the government, but mostly uh, they are they they don't have much on the business side, but they are actually collecting some of monies. Okay, if you are if you've been get into an accident and you call for the 998 and 999, the ambulance will respond to the car accident scene. Okay. And one of the thing is they will ask for the, they if not, they will picture with the plate number of the car, how many been involved, and whatever the number of patients gonna be brought to the hospitals, they will bring it. But they will gonna be bill first the insurance of the car, because each respondents of the ambulance, the insurance will pay 6,500 dirhams for each ambulances that they come into that car accident. Okay, so they will bill that one. Secondly, here comes the medical insurance of each and individual being catered bring to the hospital. So each of that one will become into their, medical insurance that the hospitals will be taking care of. Okay. So there's two billings now. Bill from the medical insurance when they already in the hospitals. Then the billing of the medical insurance being provided by the car insurance provider. You get my point now, Dr. Sashi
Okay.
Kumar?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. So 6,500 per ambulances, which they will get a bill on the car insurance involved.
Okay.
At the same time, whatever being consumed by the patients for them to stabilize during the course of transport and manage them during their transport and bringing to the hospital, they will also bill the car insurance in terms of the medical that they have, provided. So those are also we considered a business side of the ambulance operations per se. So although the ADCDA is not much more on these things, they're still providing on the public safety. But in terms of this kind of service, we can say that there's also a business aspect of it. Same in the Dubai and the Northern Emirates. The same kind of approach in terms of these things. So although they required as a patient-centered management, that's why they are improving their kind of services for them to emphasize that we manage this patient, we manage this person so that they can come up this kind of, of dealings and billings. Same with the government right now can issue billings for the insurance providers. So those are the business coming up on these sites. If uh, if if it's clear to you, Dr.
Yes,
Sashi
doctor.
Kumar.
Yeah, it's clear, doctor. Yeah.
Okay. So as I may continue in pertaining to the challenges and limitations of the current ambulance delivery systems, it highlight that many emergency or EMS was with limited resources, such as the shortage of the ambulance staff and medical equipment. These limitations can exacerbate delays in reaching patients, especially in the areas with high demand or limited resources. This can lead to suboptimal patient outcomes, particularly for conditions that require rapid intervention, such as cardiac arrest or severe trauma. According to Yin and Mu, discuss how geographical barriers such as remote or densely populated urban areas can complicate ambulance dispatching and response times. As to Minister points out that inadequate or outdated infrastructure such as communication systems, equipment, and dispatching systems can create bottlenecks in service delivery. For instance, insufficient or poorly maintained communication systems can result in delays in dispatching ambulance, causing vital time to be lost before paramedic can arrive at the scene. Same with the Holgen, also noted that the inconsistent training or lack of advanced equipment may prevent EMS personnel from providing optical services. But it's not only like the thing that this kind of challenges are limited to. As like I might say in Sharjah, we have one of Qasim is one of the big hospitals providing both medical and trauma, and the Kuwaiti, they are not government hospital but a private hospitals that most of the expats we bring in this kind of facility. The problem that once the integrations between the Kuwaiti and the ambulance service provider in that area to the point that sometimes we pile up, there's a delay of acknowledging or providing immediate care for the patients as they have to stay long on the receiving area or the triage area for them to address, because one is the issue of the medical insurance, because they have need to approved by the insurance before their needs need to be attended. Okay, we already endorse the patients, but the patients will still wait for at least an hour or two before the hospitals can address their needs. Okay, because they have their own kind of policy. Now, the integrations of healthcare system on this particular issue is there's a delay. It's not no longer on the problem of the ambulance services, but now on the institutions. So that's one way or another. So because they have to ask for the informations of the patients, their insurance providers, their past medical histories. Although we already need those for them to manage the patients, but eventually when we arrive in the receiving facilities, this is now the chaos and the bottlenecks. Other thing is that when there is a multi-casualty incidents, or we call it an MCI, for example, a bus and a car collided, so there will be a multiple casualty patients. So we are not bringing it to one facility only. So there is a divergent, meaning to say, by means of segregating patients who is much more critical, we have to bring it to the proper facility that can address their trauma or medical needs. Okay, that if they can easily have to go for the operations, that is much better. Okay, so like if we have 10, 15 patients in one locations, this is not going to one hospital alone. So we have to divert, because we don't want also to congest the emergency facility of the institutions, as they can no longer properly address the needs of the patient. So that's one of the strategies and being implied. That's what the high level of communications with both parties should be addressed. Like if we will bring into the Kasimi 3 or 4 very critical patients, they cannot no longer address all those things. As so we have to divert which hospitals that can be easily provide an immediate care for this. Yes, doctor, I cannot hear you properly, doctor.
Okay. So, Ami, you have talked about both parties, right? What are the both parties?
The 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 the, their limitations of both parties doctors are very crucial, because not every institution can cater, or especially critical and severe patients, both for the ambulances to be
Hmm.
delivered them in like
Okay.
Kuwaiti and Kasimi. Kasimi, sometimes we've been asked, no, you have to divert your patients now because we cannot cater them, as we have full pack already with their accident and emergency area with lots of patients. So we divert. Okay, it's either we go for the Ajman area for that thing to address the patients. So those are critical, as it will be added more time for transportations of the patient, especially when it's severe or critical patients we have. Okay, so
Okay.
those are the.
Okay.
Secondly is the limitation in terms of geographical. We cannot cross border, go to Dubai, because we are in Sharjah. We cannot go to Dubai, as that's one of the protocols we have in dealing all these things. So
So, doctor,
if I may continue, yes, Dr. Sashikumar.
yes, doctor, I understand. I thought of asking the gaps to optimize EMS. You told about challenges and limitations. So you feel lesser resources and lesser hospitals or the limitations for your study. Am I right, doctor?
Yes,
What I
Dr.
try to ask
Sashi.
is, what are the gaps you feel in the study?
In terms with the research gap for these things, that the limited these studies examine right now is the there's no such a lot of studies being catered in terms for the studies in terms with the healthcare integrations. We have the studies in terms of the healthcare systems, but the integration of EMS with the healthcare providers, are their efficiency and address their challenges of implementing in terms of the collaborative approaches is very limited, okay, minimal. So other than that is the in terms of the data and technology, uh, as one of the research gap, their efficiency, their practical applications. There's a lot there's a lot to develop in these regions, and they are being underexplored. And this need to understand, especially the integrations of technologies can be adapted and overcome in terms of the infrastructure barriers. Dr. Sashigama, one of the infrastructure barriers is that, when there is been already been unurbanized, there's a lot of roads creating. Okay, like in the Dubai. Uh, so during the traffic adversary, even morning and the evening, that is one of the crucial that the ambulance services being facing right now. Even though there's a lot of roads, but the problem is the roads leading to the hospital facilities are being congested and bottlenecked. So using your lights and sirens are not and being effective to the point that there's a huge traffic over down there. So these infrastructure barriers are very crucial. You need again access immediately to bring the patients to the hospital for them to be properly treated and manage them well. Okay, so these are only the one things that and the research gap has been developing, and hopefully can address comprehensive framework for optimizing the ambulance service delivery through this strategic integration and collaborative tailored as this study is being concluded, Dr. Sashi.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you.
As I may continue pertaining to the challenges and limitations, the response are often compounded by logical challenges, as I've been said, inefficient allocation of resources and inadequate coordinations with hospitals and clinics. These systemic issues not only affect the efficiency of EMS systems, but also contribute to the poor patient outcome. We have dealing with golden hour as we have in our ambulance operations. At least 8 to 10 minutes response times, maximum of 10 to 15 minutes on-scene time. Then we have to bring the patients immediately to the hospitals. If we follow this kind of rules, the chances of surviving for the patients are very highly high. But the problem is that one is the factors that affected on this kind of systems are making it contributed to the poorly outcome of the patient or the patient outcome itself. As I may say, the gaps in the infrastructures, resources, and coordinations highlight the urgent need for comprehensive improvements in the EMS systems to ensure the effectively and equitable emergency care. And the integrating of the ambulance services with the primary and secondary healthcare system is a critical strategy for optimizing emergency medical services and improving patient outcomes. I will tell you one thing, when there is the bombing in the UK during that time, one of their double-decker bus, there's a huge kind of, situations during down there. Because the ambulance services providing this kind of emergency, they are not focusing only on that particular bomb bus, because there is other medical emergency surrounding in the city that should be addressed with. So it's not only during this, crucial time of, a double-decker bus bomb a patient. But the good thing is on the applications of we have a smart strategy kind of addressing this huge number of patients for the multi-casualty incidents. Okay. They're just only providing 2 ambulance services for that particular scene, because there's also other huge demand for the ambulance on the other localities and the other scenario on the areas. We cannot deprive, if we are the government providing for the ambulance, you cannot deprive people who needs other medical services. So they're not focusing all their resources on that bus, but they have to act strategically in terms of this kind of situation. So they have to implement their kind of business continuity in terms of this kind of incidents. They have to be more strategized in dealing this kind of scenarios. So for the purpose of the integrating healthcare systems to optimize ambulance delivery, it emphasized the importance of data sharing systems, the electronic health records. This is one thing that the issue we have facing in the Northern Emirates right now. And the real-time dispatch tracking, which enable EMS personnel to have immediate access to patient history and hospital capacities. These integrations allow paramedics to make informed decisions about treatment en route and improves the coordinations of care once the patient reaches the hospital. According to Hulgen, highlight the role of advanced communications technologies in ensuring seamless transitions between the EMS services and healthcare providers. Right now, we are using a corpus with a Bluetooth system and a Wi-Fi integrations that we can immediately send the captured data on our patients to the receiving hospitals. But these hospitals right now, they are being amazed and quite speculative in terms of, because of the expense, the expense, you know, money involved in this kind of technology. Because immediately, if a person having a cardiac arrest or having a, any kind of cardiac adversary, we can immediately send the data to the receiving facilities with their cardiologists or their consultants that can immediately address, because they can immediately prepare what they need for the patients to immediately stabilize or properly have proper treatment for the patients. So immediately we capture that one and send immediately the informations to the receiving facility. That's one of the technologies we're trying to improve, and those kind of technologies are very helpful in our EMS team or in EMS staff in that particular region or area. Other one is according to Karam and Manish, explores how local government units and private sector providers can collaborate with EMS systems to optimize service delivery. Successful integration depends on a shared commitment to improving patient outcomes and resource allocations. So strong partnership between the public and the private healthcare providers can increase the availability of ambulances, improve the training of staff, and ensure the necessary medical resources are readily available. According to Sue, note that integrating machine learning algorithms into route optimizations can predict potential traffic. Hopefully, we can have like these things. I know, machine learning where is easy access for us, less time travel for the patients going to the hospital are very crucial as well.
Doctor, nowadays air ambulance also being considered, no? Air ambulance.
Yes. This air ambulance, Dr. Shashi Kumar, are being allocated especially for the Abu Dhabi. We have in the Al Dhafra regions and Madinat Sayed, which are very critical. Strategically, they are being utilized well for this matter. And as I may say, not all hospitals they have their own kind of landing area for the helicopters for them. So they have only specific kind of institutions that they can identify where it can bring their patients immediately. So for the example, that if the person is suffering from immediate stroke or cardiac arrest for this kind of thing, we have the Cleveland, we have the Sheikh Khalifa and the Sheikh Sakdut and Al Raba. And for the burns, we have only Al Raba, and the Sheikh Khalifa can deal with all these things. Okay, so not all institutions with tier 3 hospital can address all the emergencies. So that's why the EMS are then very specific to which particular institutions should bring in the patients in what their kind of medical or trauma emergencies they're dealing with. The effective optimization strategy for the ambulance delivery, according to Liu et al., discussed that how EMS agencies can use predictive models to forecast demand and allocate resources more efficiently. By analyzing historical data on emergency calls, ambulance availability, and patient needs, EMS can predict where resources will be most needed at different times of the day or week.
Okay.
This is very true.
Yes, I mean, my concern is like you have received a number of research papers, literatures you have included in that. So since it's also mentioning related to your study, yeah, what is the research gap particularly for your area of your study? What is your major research gap that you found out from?
Well,
research gap in the sense like you are going to have a study in the UAE or the Middle East, and there are a number of studies which is already matching studies are available. So how would you justify your studies are different from other studies?
Well, that the studies here in UAE and with the Western region, with the Western countries, that uh, the research gap we have allocated provides essential insights. They overlook the holistic impact of healthcare systems. The integrations and the interagency collaborations, particularly in UAE, because uh, the although the involvement of the private sectors of the ambulance services providers should have the intertwined in terms of their strategic goals and healthcare systems, especially in the UAE, for at least for 10 years right now, they have to develop like what the ADCD is providing right now for their firefighters. They have to employ almost 5,000 firefighters in 4 years in time for them to meet the demands in the future. That every stations for each shift, they have at least 34 personnels in each shift in coming 5 years from now, to address the needs of the public. Same with the needs right now with the ambulance system, because mostly as per the study, that more geriatric patients, older patients will be more catering more in the future in terms of their medical needs. So those should be and be addressed in terms part of the actionable matters of the government, that they have to increase the number of their ambulance services, not only catering during the times of events. Mostly when the bear months come in, there will be a huge number of events that will be also addressing not only the public, but every of the events, like the F1 events incoming in this December. So how many ambulances will be allocated on that particular events for just a period of 1 week time? Okay, so how many ambulances will we have to preparing? What are now the needs of the public during that time? That should be also to address with and be integrated with the allocations of the hospitals nearby. Because the F1 is not only just 100,000 per spectators, but we have also special units for the ambulances for the participants. So try to think of that one, the utilizations of the logistics particularly. Secondly, the critical infrastructures we have in the government, airports, oil refineries, the military bases, and allocating this kind of services, doctor, we have also to be strategically, like the increase of demands of the people's needs in terms of their medical or trauma are been increasing by each years, even though how many times being implemented discipline, especially in the motor vehicle crashes or accidents, we still have to utilize resources properly. So if the government will be increasing strategize their ambulance capabilities in the future, because the increase of populations, the demographic profile to be tendered in 3 to 5 years from now, geriatrics are more vulnerable in terms of their medical needs, coming forth from home to hospitals for checkups, going back again to the home. So we have to be more strategized and should be more, I can say, integrated to lessen all these kind of their gaps. Secondly, in terms of the academic and the future research, because in the US and the other country like the London, one ambulance one ambulance, it will take for them 3 to 4 hours to line up before they reach and before they endorse their patients to the accident and emergency area, because they have to waited for long because their accident and area department is been already congested. Okay, even though they have a lots of ambulances, but the problem is the integrations of the healthcare system, and their strategies are not doing well, as I may say. But here we're dealing with, at least we have not to waited for an hour for us to cater the patients, just only to endorse the patients to the hospitals. Should be a fast moving, for that the allocations of the ambulances for the next call should be addressed properly. So those are the other gaps I can say mention
Okay.
in terms with the UAE healthcare system, Doctor.
Perfect. Continue.
According to Paul et al., highlight the importance of incorporating real-time data into decision making, such as tracking ambulance locations, patient status, and hospital capacity. Real-time data and dispatchers EMS teams to make informed decisions on whether to reroute ambulances for additional resources. This strategy minimizes response delays and helps streamline the transitions between the EMS and the hospital care, and emphasizes. And according to Ho, discusses the implementations of the resource management techniques, such as ensuring the ambulance are optimally stationed and ready for deployment during peak hours. Strategic positioning of ambulances paired with a robust scheduling system reduce delays and emergency response and improves the efficiency of resource utilization. The leveraging of data and analytics technology discusses how predictive analytics powered by big data enables EMS providers to peak during the peak periods and ensure the ambulance strategy positions for quicker response times. Highlight how analyzing large data assets helps to identify the patterns that inform not just staffing, also the readiness, resources, and real time. Note that integrating AI into EMS system can assist with the decision-making dispatch and selecting the best ambulance based on proximity, capacity, and availability. That's minimizing. How I wish we have this kind of thing of artificial intelligence for us to be easier. I say easier for us to properly address the needs of the people. Those technologies require significant investment in infrastructure, software, and training, which may be barrier for some EMS agencies, especially those in resource-constrained regions. According to Khurram Manesh, highlights that the integrations of these technologies often require significant changes in workflow and organized culture, which can be source of resistance from healthcare providers who are used to traditional methods. For the policy and regulatory barriers to ambulances, delivery optimizations, these inconsistencies create disparities in service delivery, where EMS providers in one area may different from procedures, may follow different procedures and response times targets compared to those in another. There is a persistent issue of the insufficient funding, which is a significant barrier to the implementations of the advanced technologies and optimization strategies. I think this is one of the main issue in terms of funding in any kind of industry. According to Holgen, emphasized that without sufficient financial support, the adoption of innovative solutions like the real-time data integrations or predictive modeling becomes a challenge. Suggests that creating national or regional regulations that align EMS practices would facilitate smoother coordinations between the different healthcare services and allow for better data sharing. Coram Manes discussed how improved funding models such as public-private partnership or dedicated funding streams for EMS could alleviate financial constraints, allowing for the investment and infrastructure training and technology required to modernize the system. Elbana et al. Also note that there is a need for regulatory bodies to support the integrations of technology, such as by establishing policies that enable EMS providers to implement shared data through interoperable platforms. For the content analysis, these are the content analysis. And
Very good.
thank you.
This is Ami. Once again. The last picture is Ami. Is that Ami, that picture? The thank you background? No.
Yes, doctor, that's me.
Really? Yeah.
It was this one taken last February during the, I think there's a typhoon during that time, and we have been competing for the rescue in Dubai. It's an
Yeah, great.
international rescue challenge in Dubai.
So
And those
I
things.
really admiring the system in particularly in UAE, how well their rescue operations and everything really quick. Whenever the time when I travel to 311 and 611, we could see how fast they reach into the place. Yeah, really salute those people who are behind it, and we feel a little bit more safety in terms of anything happens, absolutely we will be getting the service at the earliest possible. That we really have a confidence in this section. So
Yes,
happy to be here for long years, because with the faith that obviously even some of our relatives recently happened some kinds of this emergency services, they got it at the earliest possible. So anyway, as far as your research topic is concerned, the topic that you have chosen is apt. You can go ahead with that. And what you have written, the table of content analysis, is really great. It's good. Obviously, it's good, because we need to attach with our thesis, which will be really helpful for you. That any external invigilator is looking into your work, they will be seeing, the particular researcher has gone through the various literature and they have made it. This is the way we have to make our thesis, table of content. Very good, very good.
These are the other content analysis done for the optimization of ambulance delivery, and here are the for the business strategies for ambulance.
So those who are following watching this session, and those who are going to prepare this content analysis can be best use this work for the better references. So yeah, it's good. I would like to thank you for the presence of everyone today, Bala, Shashi Kumar, and Ami, for the very good presentation. Your topic is fine. We'll be going with the same topic, and what all the research questions and everything you have given is also apt. You can just work on it. When you are coming for the next time, you'll be having other than these presentation, you have to bring something else for your second presentation. Your first presentation is fine, think of it. Creative things also you can bring it, rather than including. I wanted to tell to everyone, rather than presenting your topic, you can also bring some questions to other researchers. Like you can bring some creative ideas. You can also ask them some questions, quiz competitions related to your topic, anything. For 5 to 7 minutes, you can do some other things as well, no problem. Yeah.
Yes,
I'm taking a session. Meanwhile, I'm adding something not even related. Yeah, you can also do that as well. So it's a suggestion to everyone for the next time. The first presentation is really awesome by everyone. I wish the same for the next time as well. I expect Pillai or Shashi Kumar will be the presenter for not next week, after that. Okay, the December 1st. So say bye.
One small point, Doctor. Maybe Dr. Ami can think about it. You can demonstrate the corona how they manage this ambulance services. It will be adding more value for
Absolutely,
doctor.
absolutely. I think the previous presentation, Ami
Yes.
has just pinpointed some of the
Okay.
aspects of corona and how it has been a matter. Particularly, his research gap itself is related to that. After the coronavirus, the studies are very less. He can also include that. What Shashi Kumar said is correct. You can
Amen.
also include in the research gap. You can also include in your potential contributions as part of the coronavirus. Thank you.
Yes,
It's a
thank
good
you.
insight. Thank you for
Thank you,
your
Doctor.
patience.
Thank you, doctor.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Question paper
you.
you have sent,
Sorry.
the question paper what you have sent a couple of days back to email,
Yeah. Yeah.
advanced
Yes.
theory.
Yeah.
So that's a last module, correct?
Yes. 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 You don't have anything further, Bala. It's the last one.
Yeah. Thank you.
So
Thank
you
Doctor.
can also see some of the questions are related to the previous materials and previous sessions, but it's a advanced theory. That's fine. Last module. That now you're done with your coursework. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. All the updates will
Thank
be
you,
given in the later session. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.